I didn't understand why I couldn't go back to the way I was, right? Showing the confidence, having the confidence. My husband said to me, like, you've lost your confidence. What happened?
Come on in and pull up a chair. We saved this spot just for you. I'm Dora. This is the Better You team. Coaches, how are you feeling about this energy as we lean into this topic today?
I'm super excited to talk about this topic today, so I'm fired up.
Feeling fantastic.
Yes. And it's not talked about enough. So it's time that we did. But it's still being talked about in such a way that it's like, oh, well, menopause is hot flashes. Menopause is just a couple of different things. But it goes beyond the physical symptoms as well. What are some of the symptoms that no one warned you about?
Oh my God. Cold flashes. I had cold flashes and I went to the hospital several times and they were like, you're fine. And then I saw a gynecologist and a naturopath and they finally told me it's like, yo, this can be part of, menopausal symptoms. I'm like, oh my gosh. Plus allergies. I started getting a lot of different allergies to things, brain fog. And apparently, when your estrogen drops, it can affect multiple systems, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It can affect how you're feeling about yourself because all of a sudden the body that you've been living in all this time isn't doing what it did before. It suddenly has become foreign. It's changing shape. It's not responding in the ways that we, you know, used to, like achy joints or dry skin or, you know, dry in places that we would really rather not be dry. And and then, this also affects our relationships, right? It's multiple things. And then we behave in ways because all of this, there's this kind of a grief thing that happens. Kind of, we know there's a sadness that comes with losing touch with this body that's always been our friend, or at least something we knew what it would do. All of a sudden, it's not doing that anymore. And, yeah, so then, we're trying to get things back where they were. And the reality is, we have to meet our bodies in a new way where they are now and build a new relationship with the body that we're in.
Yeah, and I could totally understand building that new relationship because for me, it was a mental issue. Brain fog was a lot of brain fog was part of it, but so was an extremely heightened anxiety. Um, and as well as, my ADHD coming out, which I didn't know that I had. And, it it became to the point where I wasn't present. I was forgetting what people had, or not just forgetting, but not hearing what people were talking to me about. It affected every part of me from my job to my relationship with my kids to, my husband not sure whether it was me or what was going on and, it was hard. It was hard because I didn't know why this was all of a sudden changing, right? I didn't understand why I couldn't go back to the way I was, right? Showing the confidence, having the confidence. My husband said to me, like, "You've lost your confidence. What happened?" Right? And, it's not that I lost my confidence, it's that I was changing, and I didn't understand why.
The whole transition that women go through, most of the time it is very foreign, very new to us. So we don't really realize what is affecting. We're losing ourselves. Is it normal? What are we? So many questions arise. And then at the same time, when you're in leadership role, you lose that confidence, seeing that if I'm not sure how am I going to lead others? Right? That's what the most that I think most of us face. So I would say the confidence is realigning to yourself from the experience that you have. It is okay. We always go through transition, but it is right now, it's not only the transition of being in careers or in different areas, it is in your body, it is in your mind, it is in you. So that's when we're being more informed. So when you're being more informed, so take it as your strength.
Everybody, the doctor just told me to suck it up, like, seriously, and I just finally said, "Enough is enough. I need to not have this job anymore, and I need to take some time for me," and it's was the best decision I've ever made.
It is okay to share. It is okay to let the environment know and your team know that, hey, I'm going through some changes. We talk about brain fog a lot. Like maybe you're in a board meeting and you're not sure, you just lost the train of thoughts. You're just not sure what we're going to answer. And it is such an important, it's okay to say that, hey, give me a minute. Or let's take that minute. You don't have to say it in front of everybody. If you're going through some changes, you don't have to elaborate anything. You don't have to explain yourself, but take that pause. And it is okay to do that and regather, rethink. And then you come up and show up yourself. And if you can't, that's okay too. Just excuse yourself and re enter.
Definitely in perimenopause. I've been here for quite a while, and apparently it can take, like, up to 10 years or something like that. So, uh, I was surprised at, the identity shift part of it because you are changing not just your hormones are changing, which is causing you to, have the brain fog and the symptoms and everything else, but it's also the empty nest. It's also you know, who I was is no longer who I want to be. It's a becoming is very similar to the butterfly. Um, and how and butterflies get talked a lot about in transformation, but it's actually when the caterpillar has a hormonal shift that they decide to create their chrysalis, and they turn into goop, and they completely reinvent themselves into a butterfly. And as that butterfly, when that chrysalis breaks open, they struggle like mad, and they have to struggle. If they don't struggle, their wings are not strong enough to support them. They have to struggle to get out of that chrysalis and strengthen those wings so that then they can fly, right? And it's almost like that's where we are. It's that shift. It's that becoming so that at some point we can fly. So I think there's a little bit of comfort in the fact that there is some light at the end of this tunnel, that we are not going to be experiencing this for the rest of our lives. Uh, so that's very important because I've seen some statistics, and we were talking about this earlier. 70% of women faced marriage breakdown attributed to perimenopause or menopause, according to some UK research, of which 60% were initiated by the woman. There are some changes happening, huge career shifts, as we talked about, not just retirement, but actually going, okay, you know what? This job doesn't suit me anymore. I'm a new person. I need something new. We're reinventing ourselves. 40% of women are more likely to be depressed. So this is a huge time for everything. So getting some support and not just settling, I think, for Joyce's doctor said, and suck it up. Or even my doctor said, "Oh, well, you are getting older now." Not giving me solutions, not giving me options. Yes, I am getting older, but does that mean that everything else has to end? I don't think so. We do have some choices, and we can, you know, if your doctor is brushing you off. When I was growing up, the whole word was like, you didn't talk about these things. You didn't even talk about having a hot flash and or a cold flash or, night sweats or any of those things. We didn't talk about those things. In fact, that was considered taboo completely, an embarrassment if someone brought it up, say at a party or something, even as a joke. And so now, they're suggesting, we're entitled to seek out better support, as Tiffany did, to document things, to use very clear language and be very specific about the things that are happening. And like, I went on the internet today just out of curiosity, because there are women out there now that are certified menopause practitioners. And I had a client the other day who actually joined a coaching group for menopause. So there's, people are, becoming more aware, and we're saying it out loud now. And we can, so when I went on and searched, I came up with a whole list of um, doctors just in my province who could support menopause, people that intentionally practice for the well-being and health of women. And we deserve that. We so deserve that. There is no shame in what we're going through. We are, we are the reason the population continues,
Absolutely.
right?
Well said. Yes. 100.
Yeah. I think the other thing that we need to do along with that, Shelley, is we need to talk out loud to our daughters about it, right?
Yeah.
So that they understand what's going on. It's as much, um, a transition in life as puberty is, and puberty is talked about a lot now anyway. So why can't we talk about menopause that way and let them know this is what's gonna happen? You could have this,
Yeah.
this, 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 this. So be prepared and know that that's what it is.
Mhm.
And, I think that would have helped me. I remember talking to my mom one day about menopause and just asking questions, and she was very, like, she didn't, she didn't look me in the eye, which is really weird, and she changed the subject about 4 or 5 times, and she actually got a little angry at me because she didn't wanna talk about it. But that's not surprising, that's just her age, right? And what's expected of them. So, we can change that and start to talk to our nieces, our friends, whatever it is, our girlfriends, about that.
Absolutely. And I learned so much from my friends who've been through it, really. I think they helped me the most, just by recommending basic self-care things like shifting your diet, exercise, breath work, and there's lots of great natural supplements. Of course, you always check in with your doctor, but they really, really help me so much. Like, I can't even express my gratitude, right? You have to be your best self-advocate, right?
We do. We really do. In this time in our society, if we don't advocate for ourselves, the medical system is so weighed down in this country, um, that if we don't self-advocate, we will become invisible.
Yeah,
If you're still getting that nudge, be that advocate for yourself. Do the more research, get a second opinion, do what you need to do in order to satisfy that itch, because it doesn't have to be this way. And looking at some of these symptoms, there's no way that I would have ever thought has anything to do with perimenopause or menopause. Itchy ears, for Pete's sake. Like, eh, I mean, whoever would have thought that that had anything to do with hormones? So being able to get the tests that you need, being able to find out, okay, this is where it sits, how it's going to happen. Those are all important things. And like you said, the power of community, because we definitely need community. When your body starts feeling unpredictable or glitchy, how do you rebuild the trust with it instead of fighting it or ignoring it or just accepting that, this is my life from now on. I'm going to have itchy ears.
That's what happens when you're going through transition. Is you're not going to be comfortable. So it's okay to be comfortable with that uncomfortableness, right? Be okay with it and then address it. Brain fogs does not mean dementia. That's what we say. We think, am I having early dementia, right? The brain fog happens. Hey, you will forget the names. It is part of it.
Sometimes it's just accepting it, but accepting where you are, and that's one of the things that I had to do. I had to accept, okay, I have some anxiety issues that I have to work through, um, and I have some issues where I need to look at myself first and what's gonna make me happy and the better person. Even though there's people telling me to do different things, I need to look at what's best for me. And yeah, and that was, one of the biggest things coming out of the menopause time for me.
Complete compassion and love for yourself, like you were saying, Joyce, for where you're at right now and taking steps to improve your situation if you're going through a lot. Because I know I went through a really hard period for about 2 years where I was having cold sweats, I was having hot flashes, I was feeling depressed, I had anxiety. And again, like talking to friends and stuff, they did help me a lot. But what really actually helped me was getting acupuncture as well. That really helped. So, just really tapping into your intuition, your self-awareness, and just understanding like this is a normal change. And like we were saying before, it's temporary or, you're just going through a change, but it can be an opportunity, right? An opportunity to develop that intuition and self-awareness.
And an opportunity to do something that you really wanna do in the first place,
Absolutely.
right?
Yeah.
And I really, I agree with everything that was just stated, and I love the metaphor of the butterfly, and in building a new relationship with your body instead of trying to squish it back into what it used to be because it's not going there, no matter how hard you try. Uh,
Yeah.
whatever it is, start listening to your body and ask, what's my body trying to tell me? What does it need
Mhm.
right now? Does it need a little more rest? Are you feeling, brain fog, overwhelmed? Slow down. Are you feeling moody? Okay. Or grumpy or just fed up? Take a moment for yourself and reflect on what's actually going on under there. You're allowed to do that. And the other thing is, before all this happened, I didn't really care if I was hungry. In fact, most of the time I didn't notice it. But now if I'm hungry, I am not just hungry. I'm hangry. I want to eat right now. I gotta eat today, right now. Five, in fact, about 10 minutes before we came on today, I was in a panic because suddenly I needed to eat. It was very sudden. And so I was frantically making myself some toast and chopping some cheese and gobbling it down. And I had to do that before I came in because it was right there. So I said, okay, body, I hear you. You can have something to eat, a little bit of something. So meet the needs of you know, whatever your body is asking. And yeah, that self-compassion and that kindness and seeking answers because, we still don't have full understanding in our medical communities of what's happening. And with any change, with identity change, there's going to be some grief involved. And I love that you're talking about self-compassion and grace because when that grief creeps in, when that hint of depression, when that hint of anxiety, with all of that, you need to give yourself grace. You're not being stupid. You're not being a terrible person. You're not going crazy. There's there's a piece of this that you need to grieve before you can become the new.
Mhm.
So, when women initiate relationship changes at this stage of life, is that impulsivity or clarity?
Mm, I would say it could be both. I wouldn't pick one. It could be clarity. It could be that you have learned to be more assertive. You're learned to not to take all those that you have taken without um despite of what you hated, you have also always conformed to that. Right now, you're done with it. Right now, you're saying, hey, I'm going to show up for myself first, then the others. So you are taking that. I always give that example when you're in the airplane, when you're in the flight. If anything happens, the mask falls, you don't put it to others. You have to put it on yourself first to save others, right? So at this stage, you're well informed. So that's the clarity. And then you're saying, I need to let go. I need to let go, which is not serving me anymore. I need to take care of myself. That comes from a self love, right? So that's one. And the other could be completely opposite. Other could be so many changes. I can't deal with it. I can't even take care of myself. How am I going to take care of others? So I'm showing up differently. I'm showing up indifferent. I'm showing up more frustrated, agitated, depressed. I'm not there. I'm not there for my relationship. I'm not there for my, because there's so many things, hormonal changes we're going through. So I would suggest look back that you dealt with a teenager around that time. How did you deal with it? You are that person right now. Are you being patient with that person, or are you being hasty? How are you being, I don't care what's going to happen. This is how I feel. I'm just going to go with it and react. So don't be reactive. I would say respond to whatever you're going through the changes, right? So the relationship needs a lot of nurturing, and it's daily nurturing, and it is slow, but that's how we build the strongest pillars, the strongest foundation. It is every day we have to give a lot, even though it doesn't show much, but because we are doing it every day. And in this period of time, we can't maybe put in so much. And that's where the disruptions happens.
Piece of it is how society tends to view menopause, right? Like, oh, it's kind of the end of woman, or I don't know. It's like, it's you're going downhill now. That's it. Instead of going, hey, you know what? This is a natural transition for everyone. It's an opportunity for transformation and to live your best life, right? So I think
Yeah.
there's a great opportunity for a really big societal mindset shift here.
Yes, and I agree there. Have you ever noticed that an older woman character in a movie is always played by a younger woman?
Yeah.
And we know that so many actresses and models get put aside when they start to show any signs of age. We are dealing with a really serious societal denial.
There's still that, outer validation of youth and beauty for women. And when that goes, it's like, then like kind of reevaluating what's really important. And like you say, there's so many other things, right?
Looking at the different stages of life as the maiden, the mother, the crone,
Mhm.
and each person has a role in life, right? And I think this blends a little bit with the grandmother hypothesis that I've heard about as well. Whereas at each stage of life, you have a certain role. And with the maiden, it's to get to know yourself, it's to get to know the rules around society and everything else and become who you're going to be. As the mother, obviously, you're raising children, but it doesn't end there. We still have the crone. That's your wise woman. That's the grandmother. That's the person who will help you care for the child. That's the person who will help you, who knows the best ways to gather the medicines. Maybe even if she's strong enough, go to help and hunt, prepare the foods, how to raise the child through her experience, how to give the help, how to be that extra knowledge in the village, right? And it goes beyond just the family anymore because she's not stuck to having to raise her family. She can expand her wisdom to others. We've got such a valuable source of information in all of these women who now have had all kinds of experience, both in the society that we live in, as well as the society they might have been raised in and come to live here, right? There's so much value.
Absolutely.
And my mind is going back to, some studies that I um, leaned into when I was, a student here and there along the way, and um, how ancient societies made sure that every single human being had a role. Even those who weren't mothers, they were, y you know, maybe they were the herbalists, the healers, you know, the the people that everyone else turned to because they had they they had the ability to spread out and gather information from other healers and from their mothers and the grandmothers and pull it all together and then train the next individual who was ready to step into that role. So, yeah, we all uh, there's a wisdom that comes and we've lost some of that wisdom in this society.
We are often thinking, looking at the wings, that how butterflies are flying away, but we're not paying attention to the goop, that the whole transformation, um, what is happening psychologically, physiologically, right? We don't pay attention to that. We're just seeing the results, and that's what we want to be. Even though we're going through the transition, we just see from, okay, we're going to the chrysalis, and then chrysalis to that butterfly flying away, right? And that's where actually the main shifts that happens. And abundance comes with it. That's why the butterfly is being so free and beautifully transitioned and going away to its destination that it's always wanted to be, right? So it's that's what happening. And I would say the abundance can be, it comes in a different areas. Abundance of, could be abundance of authority, right? So when you are becoming your full self, that butterfly, we don't ask that question, oh, that I am that butterfly, do the other butterflies like me? I'm not taking that opinion anymore, right? I'm just saying that, hey, I am that person. I am that butterfly. Be okay with it. If not, that's okay with me too. So that's the authority shift that we are having that presence, the bold presence, or that transformed presence. That's the authority we're bringing in. So that would be, I would say, the abundance of authority. I would also say that abundance of different emotional range. So because we've gone through that whole process, that transition, that's tough process, and we learn from it, we expand from it. Um, we have gone through that grief, we have gone through that anger, we have gone through that frustrations, uh, the truth that it is happening to us. So I would say that from that, we have learned to be emotionally so much sound, so much stable, and understand how to respond than react. So we got that abundance of emotional range. So that's a beautiful way to see it as well. And the lastly, I would say is, for me, it's very, very to my heart as well, is the trust to myself, the abundance of self-trust. I have become so confident in myself because I have gone through all that and I'm still standing here showing up to my full self, to that being that butterfly.
We're making a mistake in this society right now to dismiss the more senior members of our society, the women.
It's up to us not to be dismissed.
That's right. I'm not going to be dismissed. I'm going to be noisy.
Yeah.
There's our pledge. Make a pledge. Everyone, even you who's listening right now, make a pledge with your best friends. Make a pledge with your mother. Make a pledge with the people who are around you that you will not be dismissed.
No, I feel like I'm just getting started.
Me too.
I think we've earned a little fun at this point, so let's get into our game.
Yes.
We're playing a quick little Mad Libs. The coaches have no idea what the story is yet, and if you're watching, you can play along by dropping your own words in the comments, and we'll read them after and see how they fit in, and I think they might be a little bit funny. All right, coaches. First thing I need is a clothing item,
Scarf.
an adjective for a person,
Menacing.
an everyday task,
Dishes.
and an emotion. Joyful or joy. All right. So here's the phrase. My body's been acting like a menacing roommate. I wake up feeling joyful, losing my energy while doing dishes, and somehow blame it all on wearing a scarf.
That's about right.
Yeah,
Yep.
that encompasses menopause and perimenopause a little bit.
Yeah.
Ah,
So, if you've been feeling foggy or not quite like yourself and you haven't been able to put words to it, you're not imagining it and you are not alone. I'm really grateful you chose to spend this time with us. And if you're ready for support that helps you thrive as your version of a better you, the easiest place to start is our quiz. It helps match you with the kind of support that fits you best. So, thank you to our coaches for sharing your perspectives today. And for all of you, always remember you matter. So, please take care. Oh, hey, thanks for watching. Since you watched this video, we thought you might really like this video. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe right there for more great videos. Plus, tap that notification bell so that you don't miss any videos at all. Comment your thoughts below and see you next time.